Thanks for doing this.
You're very welcome. Yeah, good to see you. What's the crack?
I'm good. I'm just saying how this is reality, this is Instagram, or
Yes.
other
Yeah,
way
yeah. That's
around.
life.
Yeah.
That's life.
Listen, how I think it's best to start these is to ask. Well, firstly, let people know who you are and what you do.
Yes. Gary Harding is my name, everybody. I am an education welfare officer for TUSLA, and I'm also a integrative psychotherapist and counselor. So I
And
bounce between those two worlds each week.
yeah. And then what about your other responsibilities?
I'm a dad. I'm a dad of two boys, Sonny and Bob. Sonny is 4, he's 5 in December, and Bob just turned 2. And I'm a husband, a brother, a friend, an icon.
Yeah. Humble. So, and how do we know each other?
We know each other through the kids, really, isn't it? Like we
Yeah.
we, we are dads. We're dad pals. We met at the door of the Montessori school,
Oh yeah.
I would
Yeah.
say, and we live in the same area. We're both in Marino, the best area in Dublin,
Yeah.
and yeah, we kind of got palsy through that. And then I knew you were in this kind of world. I knew you were in fitness, sort of that sort of space, but I wasn't sure to what extent. And then I knew you were a trainer. Then at some point you told me that, and that you were in that, you were fitness, and that was what you did. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And I've been kind of just in the gym since finishing sport, playing sports. Like I would have played hurling and Gaelic and soccer and all that stuff as a kid, and then I probably finished doing that around 18 or 19. And probably within a couple of years of that, I was a gym guy. Like I would just be, gym was my way of kind of keeping fit. Um, I didn't do any. I did 4 years then of organized sports a few years ago. Me and my brother set up a soccer team in Stony Batter when we were living in that area, and I did that for about 4 years. But like the gym and classes, and that's been my way of kind of keeping fit. I would say for the last, I'm 40 now, so like 20 years maybe. So I've been in and out of gyms for 20 years to yeah, to some extent.
So then what made you decide to take up working with me?
Yeah, I kind of just I'd never really kicked fully into the gym. Like I would just be a casual gym goer. I'd maybe go 2 or 3 times a week. Maybe I'd do a spin class. Maybe I'd do like one of those weights classes. Maybe you go in and I just do like some cardio. I'd get on the treadmill or the stairmaster or whatever. But with no ever, I think I did it a couple of times. Maybe got a plan from the gym, whatever gym I was a member of. I'm a member of Westwood Clontarf now, which I love. I think it's such a good gym. Um, and I got a program from them. But like, I would mostly be just going in and just tipping away, doing my own thing, having maybe a go with the weights, having maybe a go at a cardio machine, do a class, do a spin, get my sweat on, enjoy it, stay fit, stay healthy, but not particularly see any mad gains. Like if you took a photo of me, 10 years ago, and you took a photo of me 3 months ago, there's very little difference. Like I haven't put on any weight, but I haven't lost weight. I haven't gotten much fitter. Like I have never tracked my ability to lift weights, or like am I running faster than I was. Like I've never done anything like that. So the idea to work with somebody came about because I just was like, I need accountability, like in every aspect of my life. Like if I'm left to my own devices completely, it's hard to stay motivated. It's hard to stay on track. You do need a third party, I think, no matter what you're doing, to sort of keep an eye on things and to keep you sort of honest, maybe. In most areas of my life, anyway, I need that. So I was like, why? If I wonder what it would be like to do this for 3 months or 6 months or whatever, would I see a difference? Would I notice a difference? Would I actually start seeing progress to the extent that I want? And then because I think I reached out to somebody else first, and then the response I got, I was just a bit like, no, that's not really what I want. And then like a day later, I was cycling to the gym, and I seen you running past me, pushing a buggy with the two kids in it, and you had no top on, and you were in great shape. And I was like, this is a sign. Like I'm gonna reach out to Kev now and just see what exactly do you do and how. Like, do you do this kind of thing, and kind of pitch what I was hoping for, and that's what I did. I think I sent you I don't know how did I reach? Oh, my memory's awful. How did I reach out first? Did it
You
was it
sent me
from
I think
text or?
I think you WhatsApped me. I
Ah, okay,
think
okay,
so.
okay, yeah, okay. And then from the minute we started speaking about it, I was like, yeah, this is exactly the kind of person that I need. It was very clear, very early doors.
I actually what it was Gary was it was TikTok. That's how you messaged me
Yes.
because you follow
Sorry,
me on
I know it's
TikTok.
good. Yeah, I saw you running with your top off with the kids,
Yeah.
but I was also getting sent your videos on. I'm off TikTok now the last 3 months, 3 or 4 months. But I was on TikTok at the time, and I had because the algorithm must have known we're in the same area or whatever the way that works.
Mm.
I started getting your videos as well, and I was like, "Fuck, he really is. He's a proper fitness person."
The
So
thing,
that's yeah, it was those two things.
I'm interested. I got a question for you in a second, but just to say, on TikTok, the game is get attention no matter what.
Yeah.
So I kind of have to channel a bit of a dickhead type personality. I feel like slightly
Okay.
abrasive, slightly contrarian, because if you have attention, you have nothing. If you don't have attention, you have nothing. But so
Yeah.
therefore, I'm sometimes I worry like, do people expect me to don't get in touch because they think I'm like that in real life. So what was the how did the other person approach it with you? Um,
It
I'm
was
just curious.
yeah.
What was it that you didn't like?
It just seems so generic, like, and there was no sense of um understanding of what I was actually looking for. You know what I mean? It was just I got just kind of generic response, um, and it was like and I think they were more like small group class based kind of trainer, and there was we know progress would not be tracked. You're not doing photos, you're not in contact with somebody, you're not getting bits and pieces of advice ad hoc, somebody checking in with you, nothing like that. It was like yeah, come down and you can do 12 a block of 12 individual or one-to-one classes, and it's this a month or whatever fee wise. And the money, it wasn't a money thing, it was just the approach. Immediate like I don't it was I immediately just got turned off. You either get turned on or you get turned off in these things, and they immediately was just like, no, that's not. And with my experience with you was just entirely different. You immediately were like, and maybe it's because there's a share, like there's so much commonality there or something, but like you immediately seem to know, yeah, okay, I know exactly what you're looking for, and that's something that I can offer.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and the TikTok videos, I hear you with the contrarian or whatever. I thought from what I remember when I was seeing them around that time, I was impressed with them. I was impressed with the quality of them. I was impressed with the content. I was impressed with what you were saying. I was impressed with the setup that you have over there. Your flow, your ability to communicate your message, all of that stuff. I thought was excellent. And I'm not just saying that I genuinely did. And then it was that, and then seeing I'm just being like, oh, and that kind of perfect storm of wanting this thing, like being like, I need to work with a personal trainer, and at least for a while, just see what that's like. Would that improve things, whatever? And then the perfect storm of knowing who you are, then seeing the TikTok videos, and then be like, fuck, that's what I'll try.
Yeah, it takes a few different touch points, also over different mediums as well. Um, this is what I've kind of learned, and like Google have a thing about this. I think they call it 3712. No,
Okay.
375. Have you heard of this phenomenon?
No, no, no,
So
no.
essentially, in order for someone to exchange with you or buy from you, they need to have seen you on three different mediums. So it could be like TikTok, YouTube, and real life, for example. They need to have interacted with you at least 5 times and
Okay.
consumed up to 7 hours of your content. That's
Okay.
that general numbers. So
Yeah, yeah.
like listened to you or watched you or even just have talked about you with people. That's the general numbers. But I think when you know someone in real life, like we do, it escalates that, or it's what's the word? It kind of you don't need feel like you need to see so much of them online, I suppose, because it's just the case of no like and trust.
Yeah,
If you,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes, yeah. Trust is a big word. Yeah, trust is a big word. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And for you, like obviously our kids go to school together now as well, like a
Yes.
primary school,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
um,
yeah.
and whenever I see a dad at the gate who's like, I mean, we joked before, but we were like, how like we're like the cool dads. Well, I think you're cool. So I was like, I'm going to talk to this guy because he looks like a cool dad. And also, if I see any kind of wearable device, a Whoop band, an Apple Watch,
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
even just a watch, I'm like, I'll be like, oh, do you run? No, if they're wearing a Garmin or something, or
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. So I always try and strike up conversations with fellas, especially around sport or fitness. So they're wearing like a football shirt. I'll
Yes.
try and be like, oh, what about the game on the weekend?
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
because I find this, it's a cliche, but it's very hard to make common ground unless you do it through sport or what you're interested in, which means
Something, yeah,
fitness.
definitely. You need that. You need a place to connect, to have a bit of contact with somebody on, I think. Otherwise, yeah, you're just bouncing around each other and there's no real connection happens.
Yeah. And I'm interested because when I first we started getting to know each other, obviously the conversation was about fitness, and you were normally in your black night gear, ready to go to the Westwood, or just come from it. And I so I never thought like, oh, this is someone who potentially might be a client because they don't need me because they're already doing fitness for a long
Yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I'm interested in specifics, like what have you tried anything before this, like any kind of other coaching or diets or anything that's a bit more niche? And what was your experience?
Yeah. Yeah, I have like I said, I've been doing it like I'd say the first organized thing I ever did in the gym was like when I first started were spin classes. And like they were the old school spin classes, literally like, 10 batter down bikes. And it did not what they are now. Look in Westwood, we have the massive screen and it's interactive and it's like fucking you're having a panic attack doing the thing like nearly because the music is so loud. There's like 100 people in the room. But when I started off doing them, it was like honestly like 10 battered bikes and like you'd have a knob and it'd be either heavy or light and that would be it and you'd be in there for 40 minutes. So they were the first kind of organized classes I did and I loved doing them because I was like, again, this is the accountability thing. You're in a room with other people. You're not going to stop. You're not going to get off the bike and just head home. You're not even going to phone it in. Like you're typically going to, because you're like, maybe in your mind, like that person's looking or this person's looking or the coach is looking down at me. So I'm going to keep pedaling. I'm going to increase my resistance or whatever. So that was when I first realized, I probably realized that, yeah, like I'm most productive when I'm in a setting where, you know, there's a bit of accountability with it in whatever way that looks like. Um, so I moved between classes for a while, and then I definitely did like a 6 session thing with a trainer in like the first gym I was in, which was that was out in Swords, I think, at that point. And again, I found it was I don't even I think even in Westwood, like I think the trainers in gyms are really underutilized. Like they don't like it's such a they just do that McDonald's kind of introduction package thing, and everyone gets the same set of program. There's no real follow up or progress, or it's not done in any kind of a meaningful way. And so I did that when I was in that gym, and then in Westwood I did another one about a year or two ago. I got a program off of one of the guys there, and it was a good program. But again, there's just no follow up to it. It's like here's your sheet with the 6 exercises.
Mhm.
There's no checking in. There's no whatever. Diet wise, oh God, I've had a crack at everything. Like if I feel like I want to lean up a bit, like I'll do like I've done keto. That was insanely effective. Like the keto run I did, Jesus, I dropped like I got down to the lowest body fat percentage I've ever been doing keto. Um, I've done a lot of what's the calorie one, like the not restrictive eating, but like anything to do with
Oh,
calories, like what?
intermittent fasting.
Yes, intermittent fasting. Like I would say probably done a little bit. Like I typically skip breakfast. I typically have, yeah, I delay my first food for as long as I possibly can. Um, so I've done that with the other one, that keto, the one that came before keto, the meaty one.
Oh,
Um,
Atkins.
Atkins when that was bounced around. Yeah, so like I was even veggie for a while actually. I know you're in that world. I know you're veggie slash vegan. So I did that for a while as well. So yeah, I'm a bit of a guy, I guess. Like I will have a run at for the crack. I'll have a crack at anything that I think might be productive. But I've never stuck with anything like I'd say keto. And I was down to like I had the strips, and I would you'd wee on the strips. Sorry,
No.
people, but like you'd wee on the strips to make sure that you were in ketosis. And then when you got into ketosis, it was insane to see the body fat just go down and down and down and down. And again, you would like I think keto probably works because you're also probably just not eating a lot of not overeating calories. It's so protein heavy that you're actually just hitting your protein intake and you're satiated and whatever, so therefore you're not eating a huge amount, and because it's keto, you're not eating sugar and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, but like very, I would say in the training space, like working with somebody or doing the organized stuff, very little. Like bar the classes, have done lots of classes, and I did a brief period of the one to one, and that was it. Then I haven't got into high rocks yet. I think high rocks seems because we've been doing what we've been doing for the last 12 weeks. Hyrax just doesn't seem necessary at the moment. I'm kind of like I
Mhm.
just I'm in the gym enough, and I'm when I go in, I either want to be doing my program or I want to be trying to get my steps up. And Hyrax doesn't necessarily fit into either one of those at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah, we bought our tickets for the Triker thing, but then
Okay, nice.
I did it because I wanted to support RH, like
Yeah,
moral support it. I bought my ticket as well, but then by the time it came round, we just, you know what it's like at the moment with the kids under
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
five,
yeah,
you're just surviving every day. So we were like doing, she wasn't really training, and I didn't do any really training for it. So we ended up not going at all. Tried to sell our tickets, but we couldn't. But so what would you say has been like since we started working together? What have been the biggest takeaways?
yeah. The time, I think, like you don't need to be in the gym all day. Like my program my weight stuff that I do is 30, 35 minutes. Like that's how long it takes. Um, so that would one like working effectively rather than feel like you do a weights program, you're going to be in there for an hour and a half trying to do it. And that's not the case. Um, what else would it be like? The progress you can see it, yeah. Like as it like those small little adjustments. So I mean, I'm in the gym probably now. No, I wouldn't say I'm in the gym less than I've ever been, but I'm in the gym as you know as much as I've ever been. Does that make sense? Like I'm not there more, I'm not there less. And at the same time, the progress I can see is, far superior to what I've ever noticed in the gym. Bar those periods to say could be, doing keto or any of those kind of fad stuff. Like I can see a noticeable shift in my obviously in the metrics, like in my weight and in my body fat, but also just visually, like I know and I feel stronger, I feel fitter, I feel steadier, I feel more I just feel more, yeah, a bit more solid, I guess. So and like it's and what my suspicion was the most effective part of this would for me would be the accountability and the transparency and the that side of it, and that's been true. Like that's what I've noticed. Like by having this person, having you, uh, overseeing to some extent the fitness side of my life, or certainly keeping an eye on it. And it's not just me, has done exactly what I hoped it would do, which is to keep me on track. Like when I look at now, I weigh myself every day, and I track my body fat and my BMI and whatever, and like it's just been so consistent over the last 12 weeks that there's been no mad jumps. Do you know what I mean? Like before, I might get down to a certain body fat, and then I'll go on a night out, or I'll eat a lot over a weekend or whatever, and it would jump and whatever. But I'm not seeing that as much now. I'm seeing it's very like the dots are just like much more consistent, and I've been the steadiest weight I've ever been for the longest period. I would say over the last 12 weeks. Yeah, that's the biggest takeaway. Actually, I've been I've hovered around. I don't do kilos. I'm more of a pounds guy. Like I've been in between, like say 166 and 169 pounds for 12 weeks, which is unusual for me. You know, uh, like when it's day to day, it's staying within that. It's moving just between those 2 points. So maybe I'll have it even after the weekend. I might have gone up to 169 or whatever. And then by Tuesday, Wednesday, I'll drop back down. It'll stay steady again, and it's exactly the space I want to be in. Like I want to get the body percentage down by another. I think I've dropped 1.5 on the body fat. Like I'd like to get that down another 1.5, ideally over the next block. But for right now, I'm happy. Like I'm really happy with how things are going.
Brilliant. Because
Yeah.
I one thing I've struggled with, probably the biggest thing I would say in terms of I don't want to keep you much longer. Let me know if you need to
You're all
go
good.
about
Yeah, yeah.
5.
I do need. I'll jump at 10 if that's all right. I have another thing to hop
Oh
onto.
yeah, brilliant. So is that most online trainers do before and after photographs,
Yeah.
and what they do is they'll have the person diet very, very hard for 8 weeks or
Yeah.
sometimes 12
Yeah.
weeks.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they do a professional photo shoot where they will put them fake tan on them, put
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
baby oil on them. They'll light them from above, so
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
looks
Yeah.
so their face will look very old, but their body will look very ripped.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
so they have those photographs, and then they'll reuse those photographs over and over again um, to promote their services. But the problem with that is that it's not they've done tactics that are not sustainable.
Yeah.
Or these are the kind of people whose mindset is I'm going to get fit for this wedding or fit for this holiday, as opposed to this is an identity shift. But it can only
Yeah.
be an identity shift when it's done in a way that is one, measurable, and two, sustainable.
Yeah.
And
That's the big word, I think, the sustainable bit. Like it has to be. You have to be able to have your chocolate in the evening or your burger or whatever, and you're not in that space where, like with keto, where you're in that mad cut, but it's just not. You're never going to keep that going. Like,
no, because like
well, I certainly haven't.
you like say you're someone who likes to have a couple of pints on the weekend with mates. And like
Yes, please.
when you're when you're in your 40s and you're young kids, you're lucky if you have mates, right? Because
Yeah.
it's such for obvious reasons. As you get older, you know less and less people. You spend more time with your wife and your kids,
Yeah.
so therefore you can't be two places at once. So any
Mm-mm-mm.
opportunity you get to go out and have a few pints with mates, I think you should take it. And obviously
Yes.
not every night, but because
Kevin said it, Amy. Kevin said it. Have the opportunity.
because then you
Okay.
can say then you
See you
you
tomorrow.
yeah, it's 2 p.m.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. On a Wednesday. What's going on?
Um, but because then what happens is you can see then on the scale of the photographs, oh, I had a few more that night and I had
Yeah,
an
yeah,
extra
yeah.
takeaway. So it's gone up a little bit. So all I need to do is maybe not have the takeaway or have a pint less or whatever. And I
Yeah.
know I can, but it's going to be slightly up and down.
Yes.
The most important thing is that you're, and it's a cliche word, but you have balance in your life. Because
Yeah.
if you're doing keto, you can't sit down with your kids who are eating God knows what, probably pasta or whatever, and your
Yeah.
wife's eating pasta, and you're there with your, keto sausages, because food is, and mates, friends, and food are two really important things in terms of joys of life. And I
Yeah.
think with little kids, like we don't go cinema, we don't go to restaurants, we don't go to health spas, play golf. We don't do anything really fun as adults. It's all
Mhm.
centered around the kids. So any pleasure that we have is either with each other, hey, with each other,
Hey. All right, calm down.
no, um, playing paddle, or it's like through food. So
Yeah.
so that's why like instead of doing an extreme diet, what I think I found very helpful for me is like every meal I look at, I'm like, has at least half of this meal got high quality protein?
Mm-mm-mm.
And and as a just an absolute fundamental, that's my floor. I don't know what the ceiling is, but the floor is I need to make sure every meal has protein. So, for example, this morning, I mean, last night we basically didn't sleep. So when we decided to just get out of the bed because we're like, we might as well get out of the bed now and start our day. I got some turkey sausages after our conversation yesterday, and
Yeah.
uh, and I had four turkey sausages, and then I had a bowl of porridge. Whereas in the past, when I was a vegetarian slash vegan, I would have just had the bowl of porridge, and then an hour later, I'm like, I'm starving. I'm gonna have
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
some chocolate, or whatever. So that's a really important thing. And have you like
Can I ask you a
your
question, Kevin? Just a general question, just a nutrition question while I have you. Like, why, do you know, sometimes, say, for example, yesterday evening I had very little to eat during the day. I had a bit of, what did I have for my lunch? Can't remember. Anyway, I had like a pizza for dinner. We made homemade pizzas with, all the toppings and whatever. And then I had some chocolate with my cup of tea. But I'd gone up like a pound this morning from what I'd been the previous morning. Like, I didn't put on a pound by eating a pizza. Like, why does that happen?
so generally, if you're eating, was it a store-bought pizza or homemade?
My homemade, but like there was
Okay.
cheese, tomato, chorizo. Like it was a big boy, and it was like I ate the whole thing. And then I had
Yeah.
some chocolate afterwards. And I can't think what I had for my lunch. I only had one other thing during the day, something small. But like it was probably 2,000 calories a day, or I probably hit my maintenance calories. I would have said, but then when I got on the scales, I'm up by like a pound and a bit.
It could just be water retention as well, because
Yeah,
say like certain foods like chorizo, for example, is
yeah, yeah,
high in salt. So then
yeah,
when that's the more salt you have in your system, the more water you're going to retain.
yeah. Okay.
So that could be a
So it's not a true reflection of the weight that I am. Do you know what I mean? It's not like I don't go. Oh!
also as well, Gary. Another thing is to make sure that when you weigh yourself, you've had a poo
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
beforehand,
yeah,
and you haven't. It's every time you weigh yourself, the variables are always the same. So
yeah,
that's something to consider. But yeah, it is going to go up. I experienced that too myself, and
yeah. Water
sometimes like
retention is interesting because I had like, but yeah, it probably was a salty boy. Now that I think about the pizza
the
and
salty
bacon on
what?
it. It was a salty little fella. Like I had bacon on it, chorizo,
Bacon as
uh,
well.
whatever, onions, peppers, cheese. The tomato sauce probably had salt in it. The
Mm,
dough was definitely probably had salt in it. So yeah, so it's more of a water retention piece than a like I didn't eat. You know what I mean? Like how many calories are in a pound? Like it must be more than fucking 2,000.
I don't know. That's another thing is that as well as before and after photographs, another thing I'm against is calorie counting, but
Yeah,
that's why I'm not that actually well educated on it. The only I find the only importance of calories is at the very start of these programs to understand generally how much you're eating in terms of calories, because sometimes you surprise yourself and you're like, oh God, I'm eating 4,000 calories a day, and you don't realize it. But
yeah,
then
yeah,
after that, I in my experience, it's not sustainable to count calories, because again, if you're out with the family, you don't want to be putting things into MyFitnessPal and calculating
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. You want
Yeah,
to
so
live?
I actually don't know the answer to that question, but
Yes.
it's a
Okay.
yeah. So but hold on a second, just exit this. Okay, I'll let you go in a couple of minutes. Just one more thing I wanted to
Yeah,
ask you.
please.
In terms of like, I suppose from more of a holistic point of view, how have you found that doing this program or any program has affected the rest of your life?
Mm. It's affected it in a positive way. I definitely would have more energy. I would say I things have improved sleeping wise for us. Just that's not really saying with this is a timing thing, and the sleep has definitely also added to a bit more color to life. Like I don't feel as wrecked during the day, and I'm not craving shitty food as much. Um, so it's definitely going to be more. It's definitely added energy and a bit of a bounce in my step. It's add like yeah, it makes it's like all those lovely things. Like it makes you feel more confident. You're like I love clothes and I love fashion and all that, and it's made me reach in and grab out bits and pieces of clothes maybe I haven't worn in a while and be like I'm gonna wear that with that now. And, you just feel more in your body, like more well, I think across the board.
Yeah.
And it's been such a short, like 12 weeks is a drop in the ocean, like or 11 weeks, whatever it is now. Like it's nothing. But yeah, I've really enjoyed it. It's definitely added a few positive percentage points to my life for sure, which is great. I mean, you know what I mean? Anything that can do that, there's not a lot of things do that. So like, I'm delighted, and yeah, I want to keep going.
Good stuff.
Yeah, I have to
All
leg
right,
it out
mate.
because this
Yeah.
meal's gone in. Did you get
Legend.
everything you need there?
What was that?
Did you get everything you need?
Yeah, that was brilliant. Thank you so
Okay.
much, mate.